our channel. So in this video we're going to be talking about the ovulation and tracking of ovulation and getting the right time of the month, really.
Yeah. So obviously there's loads of different ways you can do it. We are going to be talking about things like cervical mucus, things you should be looking out for. Personally, we didn't find that worked for us at all. The thought of that makes me feel sick. But again, things may work for other people, but that just didn't work for us personally, did it? So we can talk to you about obviously all the different apps you can use, the ovulation strips you can get, everything that worked for us. Like I've just said though, obviously some things worked for us, some didn't. So it's more or less about trial and error, isn't it, really?
Yeah. We decided that we were going to use the cheap ovulation strips as it worked better for us. I mean, it's all personal preference. If you want to use the more expensive ones, then feel free to go and use them. They all work roughly around the same. But the ones that we used, they're little strips, just like this.
They're the Wilco's own ones. They're 90p, 99p a packet.
Yeah, you get 5 in a packet, so they're little strips that you have to urinate into a pot.
Very dignified.
Oh yeah. So urinate into a pot and then you dip the stick into the urine for around about 10 to 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Basically, they say on the back
that
you get a positive result if you have 2 lines.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit like a pregnancy test, really.
Yeah.
So if it's 2 strong lines, then it's a positive. It means you are ovulating. Mm-hmm. If it's a faint line next to the strong line, then it is.
So if it's not matching the control line, that's when.
Yeah. So they class it as a negative, but it just means that you are either before your ovulation day or just after your ovulation day. Unfortunately, you can't tell which one it is, but you'll sort of get to know roughly how strong the line is and things like that before or after. Sorry.
Bailey loves a cardboard box.
If you do it over a few months. It took us around about 6 months because Kay is usually
as regular
clockwork, like clockwork, as she says. So, you know, it still took us 6 months. It does take time, you know, but
everyone's different. Yeah. You know, no 2 people are the same about conceiving a baby. We did try with Lauren at the beginning, but due to a few health issues, we decided maybe it's best if I give it a go. And then maybe in a few years' time, or in a year's time, whatever, Lauren's going to give it a go again. But it's all about not giving up. Like, you've always got to stay positive as much as you can. As soon as you get a negative feeling or whatever, it can throw your body and it can put so much stress on your body and you don't even realise. This is one thing actually we found out at the doctor's, wasn't it? When we were first talking about having a baby. And she said to me, "Are you under any stress?" And I said, "No, nothing at all. And she went, "But you're trying for a baby?" And I went, "Yeah." And she went, "Well, you're automatically putting stress on your body. So the best thing to do is, as awful as it sounds as well, isn't it? Like, when you're trying, try not to think about it so much because
just
obviously, just try and relax, and it'll happen when it happens. You know, I'm not gonna say, you know, it's gonna happen next month. It's gonna happen in 3 months' time. It's not. I'm not going to give you unrealistic expectations because it's not like that. It could happen next month for one person. It could happen in a year's time for another person. You just don't know because everyone, like I said, everyone is different. Everyone is unique. And I'm not here to tell you, obviously, it's going to work for some, it's going to work for others. I'm not a doctor. You're not a doctor. We're only going on what research we have learned.
So yeah, that's basically about the ovulation test strips. They, you know, it says it on the packet. Exactly what you have to do. Exactly what the result means, and everything like that. So
there's also lots of apps you can use as well.
Yeah.
Isn't
So
there?
there's apps that we used. We used a few actually. We used one called Flow.
Don't always use one app. Sorry, Lauren. Don't always use the one app. We found actually using 2 or 3 apps because
they all give different results.
They do give some give like totally random results, and you're like, what? but actually some do link together where you could both have the same they could both have the same ovulation day, whereas one may be a day out, whatever, but it should all roughly fall within the same week, shouldn't it? Like your ovulation you should have the same ovulation week throughout all the apps.
Yeah, so we used one called Flow. We also used one called Clue, which was probably our favourite one.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was really easy to use because I'm not very techno at all. But yeah, I actually found that really easy to use. And not only that, you could put everything in there, even down to your flow, like heavy, light, medium. Because a lot of the apps, it's yes, I'm on period. Yes, I'm ovulating. That doesn't give you a proper insight, really, does it, to what's actually going on with your body.
And also asks you, I mean, you don't have to put it in, but you know, some people do. So it asks you about your sexual activity as well.
Yeah.
So whether you've had a high sex drive or a low one, you know, because that can differentiate whether you are ovulating or whether you're not.
You really weird things that you wouldn't think would matter, would you? Like, it's like, it could be like your temperature, so how you feel in yourself. So do you feel cold, do you feel hot, you know? So that's another one they ask you, and your mood as well. That's a big thing they ask, isn't it?
Obviously everyone has mood swings, big one over here. So you know, like when you are ovulating or when it's near your time of the month, some people
we both know.
Oh yeah.
We both know.
All women will know that we all have massive mood swing when it's your time of the month.
If you don't, holla to that girl. Holla.
So you can be up and down, you know. Yeah. It's one of those things. It's something that women have to go through. Well, not just women, men as well. They go through it as well. So
yeah, some do. They're fair questions, aren't they?
Yeah.
But the thing is, you know, you don't know your own. I know it sounds really silly, but you won't know your own body until you start tracking, and until you obviously start knowing your ovulation. Because I had no idea. Did you? Like when you started tracking?
No.
And we've actually got a couple of friends who are also pregnant the same way as us. So maybe we could actually get them on one of the videos, maybe, and just ask them how they kind of felt about it. But what we found was that we had no idea about our body and what it is capable of. I know it sounds really silly and like really scientific, but actually it's very, very interesting about how much stress your body can go under, and obviously how much. I know obviously we really wanted a baby, really, really desperate for one, obviously, but it's funny how much stress your body is under whilst trying to conceive. Because obviously you're always in your head, oh come on, is it going to happen this month, is it going to happen, and you're waiting for your period to start,
and when you do get a negative result, it
is heartbreaking. It really is, isn't
really
it?
Hits you.
Yeah, and for both of us as well. It's not just for me carrying, it is for both of us, because we're both going to be mummies, you know, and that's what we want. We don't want it to be, you know, a negative experience, but like I said previously, you've got to stay positive. As soon as you hit that negative, you've got to think, right, okay, things happen for a reason. Wipe the slate clean, let's start again, start afresh and keep going positive. You know, you can choose to tell your family if you want to. It's totally up to you. We chose not to tell our family that we were trying. We made subtle hints, but we did choose not to tell our family because obviously...
It just puts that bit of extra stress on you.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't need that.
They keep asking you, are you pregnant yet?
Are you pregnant? Oh, can I buy the dummies? We don't want that. But obviously we do feel like maybe it's best just to keep it between... And it's a nice thing for you us two to work on, wasn't it, as well? It was... I don't want to say like a bonding thing, but... Like, we've known, obviously, each other for a fair few years now. We got married, but the thing is, like, you really don't know somebody until you go through this process, really, isn't it? Yeah. And you learn about each other's bodies, and it's all very scientific. But, like, I'd say the biggest bit of advice is try and stay calm and try and relax. I know that's like telling water not to be wet. I totally respect that. But the best advice I received was try and be stress-free. I know it's very, very hard.
Life is not stress-free.
Exactly. But
anyway, so
there you go.
If there is any questions that you want to ask us or think that we haven't covered in this video, then please comment down below and we will try and get back to you. There's going to be lots more videos about how we conceived and what we had to go through to conceive and everything, all the legal bits and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we will see you soon.
Bye.